We have no idea what to expect, but we know we've got good friends and we're gonna have a good time.
They did a little mod that I bet you haven't seen before.
I got a couple of EcoFlow power stations, some extra batteries, and now I'm adding these panels to the mix.
It concerns me a little bit. I don't want to burn this thing down. Is it safe?
There's always something more to learn.
Absolutely.
We're about 20 minutes from our stop. We're gonna meet our friends there. So we decided to stop off, go ahead and top the truck off even though we don't have to. We're gonna take a quick break, maybe walk the dogs and just get all of that out of the way so that when we land, we're good and fresh. Welcome back. We are in Linden, Tennessee.
A little bit of an interesting trip this time. Our friends Candace and Jeremy that we met at the Grand Design Rally were coming down here and we were 2 hours away, so we thought, why not? And they had a friend that's got some land that's gonna let us park and hang out with him. He's got a couple of sites set up, so we've pulled over here to the side of this road. He's gonna lead us in and we're gonna have a good time this week.
See what the week brings.
We have no idea what to expect, but we know we've got good friends and we're gonna have a good time. And it's beautiful down here.
This is beautiful.
This is really nice.
Camping is always better with friends, and Cody is working his magic tonight.
I get to be the grill master tonight. Everybody just kind of brought their meat over. We're doing a nice communal cook here. So we've already got our steaks and our sausage done, and we're gonna finish that up with a little bit of chicken. What can I say? It's good to be me.
We're parked next to this beautiful rig from FAIRWINDSRV. Having a great week. We haven't had a bad meal yet, but we have a lot to go.
That's
well,
right.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens tonight. Cody's cooking.
Man, we had some crazy wind and storms last night. I got up this morning and logged onto the computer, started working like I always do. Angie goes out to take the dogs out and she's like, you realize Starlink's on its side out here? And it was sitting right there and it just kind of did a little tumble, laying on its side and still had great internet. I'm thinking, cool, I go to the app and it says that the motors are stuck. So I thought this thing is in trouble. Works great all day, so after work I decided to try to stow it. Wouldn't move. I ended up rebooting the Starlink dish itself and powering everything down for a couple of minutes. Plugged it in, it works like a charm. I don't know what to tell you. Back in Lufkin, Texas, the wind blew it off the roof into a mud hole and that didn't kill it, and now this. So I'm not trying to jinx myself because I'm sure this thing's on borrowed time, but that's one tough little dish.
We showed you FAIRWINDSRV and their beautiful rig, but there's something that they did, a little mod, that I bet you haven't seen before, unless you saw their video. So I'll link their video down below so you can watch it a little more in depth, but I have to show you a little peek of it because I think it's pretty cool. Wicket here has a couple siblings that he travels with, kitty siblings. They didn't really have the perfect place for those kitty boxes, feeders, and I've heard that somebody likes to get into their stuff. They found the perfect solution. Gonna show you. So that's an automatic feeder that you have in there. So it already kind of does its thing. And I think you've told me the sound triggers them.
Yes, so the food gets dropped into, it's like a stainless steel bowl. And so when they hear that little kibble hit the bottom of the bowl, they know it's feeding time.
That's pretty cool. And I know that you have access here from the outside where you can change those litter boxes, check the food. I think it's pretty cool.
Yes, and we were excited for this first trip. We hit some of America's really lovely roads with lots of potholes, and that litter box did not move, and the feeder didn't move at all. And I had thought about like double-sided sticky tape, just putting it down somehow, and didn't move.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So
I'm impressed.
Jeremy is my resident go-to if I have an electrical question. And after our battery and boondocking videos, some of you mentioned in the comments that we should run a 110 extension cord from our inverter to the rig so we have power for our outlets and things like that. So what I would do is use a twist lock with a 110 on this and plug it into my inverter, but it concerns me a little bit. I don't want to burn this thing down. Is it safe?
You can consider your inverter just a completely separate power supply, very similar to just the 110 outlet on a shore power pedestal.
Okay.
It would be essentially the same exact thing. So just plugging this in, if you're boondocking at somebody's house, you plug this into the wall, then plug this into your rig.
Right.
Same exact thing here. And it's actually, I think it's a really good kind of workaround. Instead of getting that thing hardwired straight into your system, I think this is a really simple and easy workaround, and I would do it myself.
Just as long as we don't overload the inverter.
As long as you don't overload the inverter, yep.
Now what about the converter? Is it going to be trying to charge itself off its own battery? Should I kill that breaker? Or?
Yeah, so I don't know how your inverter works, but yeah, you definitely would not want to have the converter breaker shut, because now you're just sending power from the battery through your inverter, through the converter, and then back into your battery. That's just kind of a loop you want to stay away from.
Okay.
So I would imagine that your inverter is set up to prevent that from happening. Okay. But to avoid it, just don't do it.
Just shut the breaker off for the converter.
Yep.
And plug this in, turn the switch on, and you're in good shape.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, for us, we have our 700 watt inverter. It's going to give power to all of our outlets because that's what we would have on shore power. But if we were to say plug a 1500 watt hair dryer into an outlet, it's going to throw the breaker on the inverter.
I don't know what the rating is on the breaker itself, but it would handle it for probably a split second for something that big, and then it should just trip that breaker. Now, if you're going to use like a toaster that may be like 750, 800 watts, it may hack it for a little bit. But yeah, you definitely just want to make sure that you stay under that 700 watts. And all you need to do, anything you're going to plug into an outlet, just take a look at the tag on it, the label plate, whatever, see how many watts it's putting out, or how many watts it consumes. Right. And then make sure it's less than that 700. And of course, you may have multiple things plugged into the outlets. Sure. So you really got to kind of watch that. So.
And I know our big things, we'd like to be able to charge our laptops from an outlet and be able to watch TV and things like that. I know our MacBook charger pulls like 135 watts. It's a huge charger. Yeah. So it's all about kind of doing that power audit. You did an entire video on that. Yeah. And adding up what your need is and then figuring out your system from there.
Exactly. That's all you got to do.
So if you guys are interested in doing some boondocking, I know our system's not advanced by any means. Jeremy's got a really cool setup with EcoFlow, and he just did a great video on how to do a power audit and figure out exactly how much battery power you need and even how much solar you need. He's got a lot of good information over there, so make sure to check him out. We'll put a link to that video in the description.
I'm liking this place. We get our friends next door. We have a great dinner every single night. Everyone just brings a little something. I think Candace is fronting most of the dinner tonight, so I'm excited. The guys get to talk about guy things. And I got to play with fire today. Cody's off work. It's time to eat, and Candace has prepared an amazing meal tonight. I'm excited. You know I get excited about food. What do we have, Candace?
We are having creamy chicken and wild rice soup, fresh peasant bread, and brownies. Let's see, here's a peek at the bread.
Oh, that looks good. We're gonna end this night. I think the boys have some work to do tomorrow, so we'll see you in the morning.
Since Jeremy was kind enough to help me out yesterday with my electrical questions and ideas, today we're going to throw a couple of solar panels on his roof, so I'm going to utilize my lunch hour here. We're going to get the panels up, kind of go through the plan of how we're going to mount them, and then he's going to do all the hard work while I work this afternoon. It seems like it works out great for me. I get to learn a little something and then run back to my hole.
I got a couple of EcoFlow power stations, some extra batteries, and now I'm adding these panels to the mix. So that's what we're doing today. My problem with this is these panels are so big and my roof is curved that there's not enough room up underneath of the solar panel itself. There only leaves like maybe a quarter of an inch. I haven't shown anybody this yet, and I want to make sure that just structurally it's fine.
We had to part ways tonight from our friends. The week is already flying by, but we have had a really good time. Tonight they went out to eat. We decided we're gonna be adults and take care of some business.
Hence all the laundry in the bag that we have right now. I think we had depleted ourselves on food. We were like just eating ground hamburger meat and cheese today for lunch because
A meat bowl.
yeah, it's a meat. We do that pretty often.
We didn't get that much laundry done last week either, so we're almost at 2 weeks of laundry, and we're gonna see Isaac next week.
And we want to have the rig all refreshed and ready when he gets here.
And maybe some food would be helpful to have.
Yeah, that kid can eat like a horse.
And we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, so taking a trip into town was a big deal.
Jeremy and I were talking today. We haven't got a whole lot of work done. I think we both have more project stuff planned, but we sure have had a lot of fun.
So we're lost in the woods, on the mountain. But we've been tracing our steps, and I think maybe we just took a wrong turn, 1 or 2 turns back. So we remembered which way we turned. We're gonna go back. I think we're close. We're gonna try it. Oh, sweet lights, sweet, sweet lights. We made it. We did eventually make it back last night. We did get turned around a few times. Got a little sketchy. We finally just found our headphones and iPad on Find My Item and routed to the road that looked like it was pointed in that direction, because these aren't roads that are actually on Google. We're gonna have a good time ending this week out before we hit the road again. Candace and Jeremy aren't new to RVing, and you've had a few RVs.
3
RVs. This is a new one, and it's the same size as their last one, so you would think, oh, they've got this down. But that's not the case, you say.
No.
There's some differences with your leveling, with your jacks, the placement, how they prepare, how they set up is completely different. So is there anything that you can think of that might be helpful for someone that's getting a new rig or getting into full-time or their very first rig?
I would say probably the biggest thing that we always recommend to people is to do a pre-departure checklist, because you are going to forget something. We've been doing this for 2.5 years now, and I still go down my checklist and I'm like, oh, I didn't do that. So it's a good reminder, and I literally go room by room. Anything that needs to be moved, put away, secured, gets put on my list, and we update it as needed. We're still adding things.
So with this new rig, do you use that old pre-departure checklist?
I pretty much had to rewrite it because we've got our kitchen in the back now, and that takes the most bounce as we're driving down the road, which means I have to do a lot of extra work. I previously just pretty much had to stick a tension rod in the fridge on one shelf and call it good. And now I've got tension rods, I've got bins, I've got towels, I've got pillows.
I saw some of it, a lot. She's got a lot.
Keeping everything from having that dreaded fridge explosion that we had on our first drive. Yes. Yeah, that was fun. So yeah, we had to completely rewrite it, and yeah.
RVing is never old news. There's always something you learn.
Yep.
And with every change, there's always something more to learn.
Absolutely.
We don't need to chase bees. You can't catch them anyways. They apparently trusted Cody to cook again. Or we just did it and they're just gonna have to deal with it.
Here's the thing. I love to cook on the grill, but I usually cook like the steaks first. Or the burgers first. That way I only have to cook to one temperature. Well, here I'm having to cook the boudin to 165. The burgers to 160 and the steaks to 135 because that's how we eat our steaks. Let me know in the comments how you like yours. So I'm having to cook to 3 different temperatures.
If well done, don't leave a comment.
So I'm having to cook at different temperatures and people are passing by and we're talking, so I'm gonna mess something up. But you're all gonna tell me it's good anyway.
That's quitter talk. Want to know how to catch a Jeremy? Cook some boudin.
Man, I love this stuff. This time, I will not eat from the community fork.
You did eat from the community fork last
Well, I heard her the other day. She's like, "Oh, I guess that's Jeremy's fork now," and I didn't even know till later.
Well, the steaks are done. The boudin's done. We're waiting on a couple more hamburgers because we didn't quite have enough grill space. I think we're about ready to have a pretty darn good meal. And something that I haven't mentioned, you and I talked about it in joking, is that, you know, Angela and I are not late night people generally. I mean, on occasion,
Yeah.
and like the first day, we have dinner at 4:30.
We find out that we all like to eat dinner early.
Yeah.
And then by 8 o'clock at night, we're all saying sayonara and we're all going off to our homes on wheels.
Yep.
And we're all up relatively early in the morning. And we didn't plan it this way.
Nope.
It just, I think we found lifelong friends. I really do.
Yep. I told Candace when we went to bed, I was like, I think we got some good friends here. We all like to joke around. We like to have a good time. And we all go to bed at a reasonable hour.
Obviously, we're all very old.
Yeah.
Obviously so.
We have found people like you guys and many others along the way. One, RV people, I think, are just the best.
Yeah.
They're just
RV
the
people
best.
and boat people are the best people.
It's a true community, but it's been fantastic.
And different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Very different. And we got some work done, and I learned some stuff this week from Jeremy. So.
Well,
Yeah,
good.
and I learned something from you very important with the septic.
Oh yeah, my septic trick.
Your septic trick.
We'll cut away to that here.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen this, rather than carry an entire water hose around to do my black tank flush, I have one of these little coiled hoses and I put black tape on it so I know not to drink out of it. I just hook it right here on the flush valve. Hook the other end of it in the Nautilus. The Nautilus does have a backflow valve in there, so if any bad water were to travel up here, it's not going to get into the system, and we don't drink out of this anyway. Just kick it on, let it flush for a few minutes, fill up the tank, dump it one more time. We'll be one step closer to getting ready to go. So I'm glad I was able to help Jeremy out with my septic hack. I'm glad he was able to help me out with the boondocking hack.
He's helped us not be electrocuted before.
Yeah, he has saved me from being electrocuted at least once with the grounding plug.
Okay, good.
You saved a life today.
That's right. I can die a happy man tomorrow.
So what a fantastic week. I know we all have to get up and part ways in the morning, but we had a blast with you guys at the Grand Design Rally last year. We've stayed in touch. It was awesome to hook up with Candace and Jeremy, or as I call them, Jandis.
By accident, but it's stuck.
And you can find them on YouTube. They've got a lot of awesome stuff on their channel. But I think for us, we're going to put the cameras away have one little last campfire and maybe throw some cornhole and get up and get ready to go early in the morning.
We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
What you doing, buddy?
Candace and Jeremy. Sorry.
You can start again because I was like licking my lips.
With the septic.
Oh yeah, my septic trick.
Your septic trick.
We'll cut away to that here.
Yeah. Oh, is that?
That's where it's gonna go.
That's where it's going.
There you go.